All right, chat. Let's go. We're gonna watch this one from Blizzard Lost to this. We'll watch this first, and then we'll talk about it.
Really well. Marvel Rivals is doing really well. I'm kind of surprised about this, but let's look at how many people are still playing the game here. I'll go ahead and take a look at it. Where the fuck is it? It's still on the top. Yeah,
right there we go.
Bro. Marvel Rivals, 357,000 people playing the game. That is a lot of fucking people. And I think it's going to continue to keep a pretty good audience for a while. Now, is it going to be forever? Probably not. Like, I have a lot of, you know, uncertainty about the longevity of the game, but it sure seems like people like it right now. Overwatch could never.
That's true. That's true.
It's bad.
We've all heard it said that hero shooters are a declining, oversaturated genre, and we know that there's a sizable graveyard. We just saw Concord die. But of course, that's an assessment.
Nobody says that except for gaming journalists trying to make excuses for why Concord was shit so they can rationalize giving it good reviews.
I was going to say, hero shooters are very popular and still, in my opinion. I actually really enjoy them. I just need a good one.
Shooters are not dead. Deadlock proved that they weren't dead. I mean, like, what are we even talking about? Absolute total bullshit. Complete bullshit.
That does not gel with Marvel Rivals' absolutely gigantic success.
Who said turn-based was dead? The Baldur's Gate 3.
Everybody has been mocking publishers over hero shooters and generally just mocking a lot of live service titles.
Yeah.
Marvel Rivals is absolute.
Chat, let me know in the comments, and YouTube, if you're watching this, let me know in the comments below who's playing this game. We played it on release. It was actually a really fun game. We're gonna be streaming a lot more of this on Twitch. So if you guys are here from YouTube, make sure you follow us on Twitch. We're gonna be streaming this a lot.
Thriving, and that is not an overstatement.
Yeah,
it got 10 million players in its first 72 hours,
Jesus.
and by now
it's
actually hit 20 million. This is so much activity that Steam's backend even struggled, and for some developers, it broke. They were not able to access the Steam backend to update their stuff. And this was all timed with Marvel Rivals absolutely ramming Valve servers. And of course, their servers were getting rammed by both Tencent and NetEase because at the same time, Path of Exile 2 did happen to be doing quite well. So much so that together, Steam actually hit a new concurrency record of 39.2 million users.
At the same... What the fuck?
Dude, Blizzard is so done. Like, seriously, Blizzard is so done. PoE and Marvel just two-shot at it, dude. It's done. Blizzard's done.
That is insane.
Online at once,
my God.
which is crazy. But that's not what's truly noteworthy to me.
Yeah.
A free-to-play game exploding and then just falling to pieces, or people quickly running away, a flash in the pan, that is not a surprise. It's actually what we tend to expect. And on the internet, when people tell you...
That's a good point that chat just made. That's just only Steam. You know, that's Steam only. This is also both of those games are both consoles. They're on the Xbox and PlayStation. So that's pretty wild. And they also have their own opening. You know, their own hubs. So that's a lot of extra game playing. There's a bunch of people playing on other servers that's not in that Steam data. So that is just crazy.
Yes, something is shocking, it's often hyperbole. Here, no. This is a shocking chart. This is the retention that we are seeing with Marvel Rivals, and this is genuinely impressive. It has essentially maintained its launch peak for an entire fortnight. This is a vanishingly rare achievement. It is absolutely stunning. The daily lows for this game are resting at 180k. And, well, they're good, the highs are good and regular, and I kind of remember the words of our erstwhile Prime Minister Theresa May, strong and stable. It's rare for a new game.
I think that it's doing really well. My concern is that I think that with games like that, once people lose interest in them, then people are kind of totally out of it and they don't care anymore. And that's what my concern with that would be like, after Marvel Rivals has been out for a while, then, like, what's going to happen after that?
To be that strong and stable, and if you're Blizzard, you're absolutely going to be feeling a sting. So much so, you definitely need to check out today's sponsor. Or Boot.dev. They're a long-time channel supporter, and they actually just got better. So what they do, right, is they teach you back-end development using Python.
What is this, play Rivals? It's pretty solid. I might try it tomorrow, actually.
And go. They're structured
I'm thinking about trying the game out.
They're made by fellow viewers.
Who's playing it, chat? Because like I said, I played it the release day. We streamed it, I think, one time. We've just been playing a lot of PoE. We're going back to it next week. I'll probably be playing a lot of it. I've had a lot of fun on it. If you see on the TikTok, I was playing our TikTok account. I've been playing a lot of Scarlet Witch. It's been the one I'm really shitty at though, guys. The one I'm really, really bad at is Spider-Man. Not gonna lie, I'm really trash for Spider-Man.
Of this channel, and what's really nice is their clean, fresh new UI.
I downloaded
and
it.
It's so good because in the world of just modern, soulless designs, they're actually leaning into RPG. I love it. It's so nice and rich. And on top of that, they've got another awesome feature called Spellbook that they just shipped, and it is so cool. So as you're progressing through lessons, right, you unlock new Spellbook pages, and these are all like fully searchable. They're full of concept explainers, documentation, code examples, and you can bring it up with just the hit of a hotkey. And that's
you guys looking for a dev?
go
Check it out.
I hear they pay well for sponsorship.
Really
I don't know.
for learning, and that's really what I love about Boot. It's designed as an overall experience and not just a product. And when you're
Not
learning,
my
I
sponsor.
think that's just so important.
I got no sponsors.
Now, their learning pathway is substantial. You start from, of course, the basics like your Python fundamentals, learning the likes of, say, Lua, then through to really cool example projects like a server client Pokedex, through to a whole module.
I don't even know what the characters do, honestly. I have no idea.
Actual practical advice and bonus
No
deeper
clue.
learning modules as well. It's really cool.
Did
Made
someone
by
at Blizzard tweet about calling the Marvel game an Overwatch-like? Yeah, I guess so.
two brothers. You can tell that the whole
Every
thing is
game.
made so much heart because, yeah, big corporation.
At this point, Blizzard's gonna be making tweets every day that something is something like, right? Marvel like, Overwatch like, Diablo like. Every game is gonna be something
Just
Blizzard.
can't really do it like that. With my link, you get 25% off your purchase. So I'd go for annual. That's how you save the most money. And of course, if it's not for you, they have a no questions asked 30-day refund. And of course, you can actually browse their materials and their demos for free. So what the hell's going on here? Marvel Rivals is a free-to-play just like Overwatch, but that's not really an even comparison because of price anchoring. Overwatch 1 was a paid game, and it was far less of a playable storefront than Overwatch 2 has ended up being, and that's what made Overwatch 2 sting. Of course, contrasted with all of the cool stuff that we were shown at BlizzCon.
Oh yeah, those are all the things that didn't happen.
With Rivals, well, it just has audience
Fucking
expectations
pieces, bro.
being met. Everybody knows what to expect. I mean, for an extreme example, on this very channel, we caught a lot of flack for being harsh on the Delta Force microtransactions. To us, they were pretty damn bad microtransactions. That's why we criticized them pretty damn heavy in that video. But clearly, a lot of people didn't care at all, really. And I imagine it's because it was a free-to-play game, and it basically met their expectations. Here, then,
yeah, people don't really care about free-to-play games having high microtransactions. I think with Overwatch, it's a little bit different because people that bought Overwatch 1, the game was one way and then it got changed to something else. I think that's the reason why people kind of got frustrated with it. But in a general sense, I don't think that people care about microtransactions for cosmetics.
Look at PoE. PoE has so many cosmetics. They have so many stash tabs, this and that and this, but it's a free game. You know, essentially it's a free game. So you really don't care, right? You pay your $30 to get it early, but that's it. It's a free-to-play game. If it's a free-to-play game, you don't care if they add expensive things. Unless it's a $100 mount for World of Warcraft. That's ridiculous, dog. Let's not do that again.
Yeah, they open my boxes. Right, exactly. Yeah, they're force migrated. So, like, if Overwatch 1 and 2 was the same as, like, I don't know, maybe like PoE 1 and 2, you probably would have seen less negativity.
Rivals is made by NetEase Games. They're a group who absolutely know how to retain players based on the countless large-scale free-to-play live service titles that they run, many of which are, of course, are on mobile, and, well, they have many investments in so many other games as well. Now, brand-wise, this has got Marvel, but it's got a flavor of Marvel that, at least from my outsider's perspective, doesn't seem tarnished by MCU fatigue. I mean, looking at the game, they're clearly leaning
and I think this is also another reason why it kind of did well, is because it didn't really try to copy the MCU. They kind of did like their own version of the characters. I think it looked like Wolverine is very, very different. Whereas like some of them, they're like a little bit closer.
Actually cool.
But if you've noticed, there's a guy, I think on TikTok or maybe on YouTube, he did it. Every one of their, like, I think the DLCs, maybe the cosmetic ones, every one of their finishing poses or something is 100% related to the MCU. That's kind of a cool Easter egg. I don't know if you guys saw that. I think it's on TikTok, maybe YouTube. Maybe you can look it on YouTube. But somebody took every you know, the little emojis and little animations they do at the end of the game for awarding like a victory. A lot of, or maybe it's player MVP. A lot of them correlate to specific shows. Like Loki is the Loki show. He does the same like move he does in the show. And like Spider-Man does the same move. They all have correlating things to the movie, so it's actually a kind of cool Easter egg.
Their designs shine. It is the opposite of Concord.
Yeah.
Concord's a game that did have a few banging bits of concept art, but my
Well, if
God.
you just look at the visuals, this is the problem that I think a lot of people
Chat said emote. Yeah, not emoji. My bad. Emote.
don't really pay attention to a lot. If you look at this right here, this looks like trash. Looks really bad. And I think that that's one of the things more development studios need to realize is that these like really bright, hyper saturated colors are really off-putting for many people.
Distracting as well.
And also, like, the characters aren't hot. Like, you're not going to see cosplay girls cosplaying anything from Concord.
They're not hot, bro.
That's another
That's all we
huge
care
issue.
about.
Like, there's no reason to have characters that people don't like. Why would somebody want to play a hero? Why would you want to play a hero shooter when you don't want to be any of the heroes? Where's the
True
logic
that.
there?
True that.
It doesn't exist.
Art, but my God, there are not even words to describe how badly that all translated into Sony Photoreal 3D. It just didn't work. But Marvel Rivals has another strength. It is not wholly original, and you may think that's me just absolutely launching it into an attack, but look, it is
No, it is. Like, Marvel Rivals absolutely has a huge advantage because it capitalizes on existing characters and IPs that people are aware of.
Characters, IPs.
This is an objective fact.
Characters, IPs, gameplay, other games. It's not really original at all. It just tries to do its own thing and perfects it.
Like, I can't see not thinking this way.
similar to Overwatch, but that's not really the main point. One person who did try to make a point in this, though, was Mike Ybarra, our dearly departed Blizzard president, who is still out there hunting down some tasty high-growth opportunities. He launched a rather infamous
now he's doing, he's doing, like, gambling stuff. I mean, like, what the fuck?
tweet. I'm just going to read it out for you.
Yeah.
And, hey, you got to get it here because he deleted the original. Quote, looks like Overwatch Marvel rival ships tomorrow. I mean, even the character name, Widowmaker and Overwatch versus Black Widow and Marvel Rivals, lol. NetEase Tencent, all the same. Oh, Mike.
Black Widow has been a character longer than... What are you talking about? That is the dumbest... I'm telling you, these Blizzard tweets are just making them look even dumber and dumber, man. Like, again, instead of criticizing them, just make your shit better, bro.
Mike kind of...
What do you say? Right? I mean, what do you say? No way he's serious? I don't know. What a dumbass? Yeah.
At a point buried through the stupidity, but the tweet absolutely is just him literally saying that Black Widow, a character introduced in the year 1964, was a Widowmaker knockoff, which is not true. You could maybe say his actual point, though, is the character kits. In a way, it makes the point he was trying to make, but it also shows why people are resonating with this game.
Well, I wonder what people would say if you said the same thing about, like, Team Fortress 2 and Overwatch have similarities. I mean, like, Warcraft took things from Warhammer. What are we talking about? It's just like, it's such a ridiculous thing to say.
Black Widow has got
what a loser says.
It's got a scoped mode that does more damage. She's got a grappling hook. So yeah, she will totally appeal to Widowmaker mains. But take a look at gameplay footage they have added to
Black Widow, I played, is actually pretty good character too, guys. If you play, Black Widow's pretty good.
the kit. You've got a knockback kick, you've got a melee baton plus charged plasma round, and it does come together to actually play differently. Now, I get why Ybarra tweeted, but the gameplay here is different, especially with its close-range third-person brawl.
I bet another reason why this game might be popular is because you can actually kill players in this game, it seems. Because in Overwatch, I don't know about you guys, but like playing the game sometimes, it's like you're beating your head against a wall and nobody's dying and nothing's happening. You can't? Yeah, and this is the reason why I think Retail WoW PvP died. It's because basically they increased the time to kill so massively. So it's like, I remember when I was playing, this is like outdated, but like back then it was like you either die instantaneously or not at all.
That's going on, and that's the point. Rivals does not just copy.
But I don't know.
Generally speaking,
I haven't played this before.
iterates.
It just seems
now,
that way to me.
There's always going to be genre crossover.
You could die pretty fast in this game, dude. I have one of my TikTok videos. I have Scarlet Witch, and I literally get like one-shotted, dude. It's crazy.
Maybe I'm going to take a look at, say, Paladins from Hi-Rez. But Marvel Rivals is different. Like Overwatch, it's got the split between tank, DPS, and support, and many of the 33 launch heroes do have direct crossovers, some that are absolutely leaned into. I mean, Black Widow probably doesn't need to be a sniper, and she'll definitely be like that to appeal to the Widowmaker mains. And some of them are inherent, like Hawkeye and Hanzo, who are both bow users, or Symmetra and Doctor Strange, who both use portals. But the thing that matters is that Rivals gets to cook with almost 70 years of inspiration and a wealth of real-world player experience from other hero shooters, and that means what we've got is a slick game that is...
this game looks pretty good. I mean, I'd have to really sit down and play it to know for sure.
I actually really like it.
From what I'm looking at here, it actually looks pretty high quality.
I actually like the game,
chat. One that looks the gameplay looks so bad. I can see why you think that, but after playing Monster Hunter and like even Dragon Age Veilguard, sometimes the way a game looks like it plays isn't the way that it plays.
Iteration rather than a clone.
Because
that
I thought the same thing.
Ybarra's absolutely dunked on tweet missed. And I think it's why this is a game that is actually surprising and delighting people. It has iterated and brought its formula forward. And in a way, it's done that against traditional wisdom that would say that hero shooter is on the downtrend, that there's MCU fatigue, and that the track record with hero games is actually pretty damn bad. When we think hero game, we're all just going to think of PlayStation Spider-Man, but that's because we've forgotten the massive graveyard of dead games, and even
like
the Marvel
Superman
graveyard,
64,
which will of course have Square Enix's Avengers in it.
Well, that's because the game was
very
garbage.
much the lolcow of its year.
Like, this is the main reason. It's just a garbage game. Also,
look at that dude. Doesn't even look like a person. This game was actually trash. I was so disappointed with this game.
Like, Marvel Rivals does, like, all of their characters are they're visually appealing, and I think this is a huge thing that a lot of people discount and they don't take seriously.
Yeah, it looks like
but
play.
If you have a game that doesn't have visually appealing characters, that is a massive amount of marketing that you're just totally losing out on. Like for example, like Emeru did like this one cosplay of a Marvel Rivals character, and like the post got like, I don't know, it was like 10 million views or something like that. It was massively fucking popular. And so you have people that want to that will effectively advertise your game just simply because it's a good game and because people like the characters. The Luna Snow, I think that's what it was. Yeah, exactly. And so if you don't have that in your game, you have to ask yourself why. Why would you not have that in your game?
But even good games that have got like big popular Marvel superheroes have failed to meet financial expectations. We've got two examples of this. One is Guardians of the Galaxy and the other is Firaxis's Midnight Suns. And the thing is, those were both really good, well-reviewed games that just didn't sell. And then, of course, there's the now rather end-of-life Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Before that, there's
I was gonna trash on that game, but it's done it to itself. I don't have to say anything.
Gotham Knights, so it's not been a good time. By comparison, though, Marvel Rivals has got half of the internet standing Jeff the Bloody Landshark, who I didn't even know existed, and it turns out has only existed since 2019.
I hate that character.
So this is not a case of put heroes in it that people know and suddenly everyone will start playing. No, what they've done...
It helps. It definitely helps. Like having established IP that people understand is a huge bonus and a massive thing. It absolutely is. I can't imagine not thinking that. Of course it is.
They've nailed the basics. They have carefully chosen some deep pools. They've chosen things that everybody knows, and they've executed it all to an extremely high standard. The mechanical diversity of this game, especially considering that it's only just launched, is absolutely insane. And that's a large part of why people will play it over Overwatch. One team can have, let's see, a teleporting ninja fight, multiple flight-based characters, webs.
Chat, if you see this game, doesn't it just look kind of fun to you? Like, the characters look very clean and polished. They look fun. Compared to Overwatch, Overwatch does not look anywhere this, like, enticing. This has, like, visual enticing. You see the gameplay you want to play. And then the characters just look beautiful. It's a great game.
Swingers, and where the web swinging actually feels good. If you've got Rocket and Groot, then you actually get an entirely new ability and game-wide mechanic on top of your existing set. And to quote from the game's director, the awesomely named Thaddeus Sasser, well, he basically said this: I don't know about you, but when I heard the concept of the game, I was like, oh my god, I want to be Storm in a game. I want to be Doctor Strange in a game. I want these heroes in the game. That sounds awesome. And of course, my mind immediately leapt to all the cool possibilities you could have with that.
And I think that's one of the reasons why the game's popular. It definitely capitalizes on people's nostalgia and like understanding of the existing characters.
Strong IP.
And I think that it also provides like a foundation to like, okay, well, if you're doing Doctor Strange, you're probably going to have things like portals and like time mechanics, like reversing time to heal yourself, something like that. So yeah, of course, like Hawkeye is going to have a bow. Okay, it's going to be kind of like Hanzo. Yeah, of course that stuff matters.
Seems like a very trite
thing.
It
makes perfect sense, really.
He's the director for the game. And it's absolutely not a fair one-to-one comparison, but do you know what appears in my head? Suicide Squad.
You know, it's actually a really good point, too, that he said all that, is that you have the nostalgia factor, but you also have like these other, like he said, Hawkeye and Hanzo. But you already going into this game knowing that Wolverine, like if I play League of Legends, right? If I play League of Legends right now, my problem with playing League is that if I go into League, I have no fucking idea what's going on. If I don't have the character already down, I have no idea what's going on in League of Legends. You come into Marvel, like he just said, the nostalgia factor and connecting to other games. But you know for a fact, Wolverine is gonna have claws. If I threw anybody, my father who doesn't play video games, if I said, Dad, play this game, and he came in here, he would see Marvel, he would see Wolverine, and he would instantaneously know that he's probably gonna have to go up and start clawing the guy, right? If I throw him in there and says, hey, play Black Widow, he's probably gonna think Black Widow has the things from the movies, her baton things, and her guns. You already have the nostalgia, so it's going to be friendly to the characters. You have the nostalgia factor, and you just have like this beautiful concept. So it's like a triple threat, baby.
Kill the Justice League, where the first reaction from most people when they watched that E3 trailer was, oh, this looks like a generic third-person shooter. Why are we just doing shoot-bang with guns? This doesn't really feel like Heroes.
Yeah.
Which, obviously,
I hated the game, bro.
What consumers thought was not enough to get that game any cut through. Well, look, that's enough lavishing this game with praise.
Well, the game didn't look good. That was the problem. Like, Marvel Rivals looks good and the characters are appealing. Suicide Squad, they don't. Like, it's such a simple concept, and it's weird that so many people struggle with it, too. It's amazing.
Back to business, especially because there's a statistic that puts this whole thing in context. Matt Piscatella has got 2 decades of industry analysis experience. He's the executive director of Circana. They're a long-time analytics firm. They are not small. You actually may know one of the companies they just acquired. Nielsen, as in Nielsen of television ratings fame. So they're a big fish with massive corporate clients. Literally, their stock in trade is actually having good analytics. And what's great is Matt shares loads of games data in public.
Wow.
This chart shows the percentage of weekly actives by game title. And better than anything, this shows just how winner takes all this industry is.
Well, because the reason why it's winner take all, it's because people want to play the game that everybody is playing. It's really simple. Like in any competitive game, people want to play a popular competitive game because it means that their skill will be respected and appreciated by more people. That's why you have, whenever a game loses popularity,
which used to be a thing that's a new modern day thing. In the past, you just used to play a game that you were like, you didn't care if anybody else was playing it. But like you said, you want to be playing the game that everybody else is streaming. You want to be playing the game that everybody else is talking about. You want to be part of the conversation. But before, it was not like in the 90s when we were growing up, like in the early 2000s, you just played games that like enticed you, right? But this is what he's saying is true. What he's saying is true.
Its competitive scene generally dies. Because as soon as that happens, well, it's like, okay, well, why do I want to be good at this game? Nobody is going to watch me or care about me being good at this game. And there's queue times as well. You're right. There's other components to it, but I think this is one of the biggest reasons. Absolutely it is.
The top 5 games hold 75% of audiences, like just by player numbers. And if you're an indie, in a way, that's okay because you're fighting for the 25% of the audience, not the big 75%. You don't need that insane level of scale to be successful.
But if you're Blizzard, you need it.
Major AAA live service, you need to make a dent in that 75%.
Yeah.
You need to fight with those games that are taking so many people in an absolute winner-takes-all industry. And of course, it's failing to do that leads...
That's why this whole week, dude, has been devastating. This whole week, the 2 weeks that it's been these 2 games, PoE and Blizzard Rivals, to come out, could literally make Blizzard go like bankrupt, dude. These last 2 weeks could literally pull investors, pull future games, layoffs, firing. It could literally cause a whole like behind the scenes to be like, you seen that SpongeBob meme where he's running like his brain? They're doing the cabinet stuff. That's literally what Blizzard's doing right now because of these 2 weeks of PoE and Rivals.
To the likes of, say, X-Defiant going under the way that it did.
And another big problem is like a lot of games have a really bad first impression. Like Suicide Squad had a really bad first impression. I think like Concord had a really bad first impression. And the issue is that a first impression with a game is like extremely important. So if as soon as it comes out, there's a lot of people complaining about it and saying it's bad, that's going to affect the game in a very massive long-term way. And I think that's why it happens constantly. And second impression and third, Suicide Squad's impressively bad. Well, what I mean is like, so if you see a game and it's immediately unappealing, there are a lot of people that are like, wait a minute, okay, it's bad. I'm not going to think about it anymore. And I think another big component to that is that when people are thinking about like investing a lot of time into something, or actually, well, it's not even really that. It's that people don't like to change their mind. And this is another really big important thing. Most average people do not like changing their mind. They hate the idea of the fact that they were wrong. And people view changing your mind as admitting that you were wrong. So as soon as they decide that a game is bad and it sucks and it doesn't look good, then they're never going to play it, because playing it after that would be admitting that they're wrong. And I know it sounds stupid, but that's the way I think people think. First impressions are big, yeah. Like D4 bad, yeah. Biggest falling off of society. It's not society. This is human. It's base human behavior. Yeah, you lose credit for admitting fault, then you never had any to begin with. Oh, if you lose credit for admitting.
So what he's saying too also relates to those tweets that we keep seeing from Blizzard, right? Like that one we just saw earlier about the Rivals thing, the thing we saw about Diablo-like, and over here chat saying big studios need to stop chasing profit, put the quality of the product like they used to back in the day, and stop just chasing money. And that is the problem. That is the problem. They're chasing money and they're trying to push their own agendas, and they just don't care about the, they disrespect the product, they disrespect the audience, and they disrespect the player base. Honestly, they just don't care. They really don't care about producing good games anymore. It's all about the money, the message, and I'm like he's saying, I'm right, you're wrong. It's okay to fail, dog. It's okay to fail and say, hey, I failed, we're gonna do better. It's okay.
Admitting fault. This isn't even credit. It's not thinking about like, it's just people don't want to admit that they're wrong. It's not complicated, is it? I feel like it's pretty simple.
Concord immediately dying because there was no real universe where it was going to get itself to where it needed to be.
Yeah.
And it's in that context that Rivals is actually impressive, because in a winner-takes-all industry, it has managed to get cut through. And this is what their director had to say. It's pretty wise. There's a switching cost. I've already invested in Overwatch. I've got 15 skins for Pharah.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. I think the trick is you need to have that reason that people want to come and play your game, and I think Marvel Rivals does that exactly with the superhero. And
there's also another reason, and it's the opposite. When you're going into Overwatch, you're competing against people that have maybe played Widowmaker for 7 years. You're competing against people that have played Soldier 76 for 5 years. And the skill gap is so big there, and people are so good at the game that a lot of people look forward to new games that play well, because those new games are a chance that it's on a clean slate and everybody is beginning and learning at the same time. Because like over time, the skill gap in the game gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Like people in Vanilla WoW were worse at the game than people in Burning Crusade, and they were worse than people in Wrath of the Lich King. And this is the same with League of Legends. If you probably go watch League gameplay from 2013, it's not going to be anywhere near the universe that it is now. So what happens is that the skill gap gets so big, and a new game gives everybody an even playing field, and that's why people want to play it as well. It's a huge component. Happened to
That's my problem with League. I can't really, like, I'm trying to get better at League and I want to play more League, but the problem with League is there's just so many characters, there's so many skins, there's just so much to learn. So what do they have, like 2,000, like 200 heroes now or something like that? They all, like, it's like not really balanced. It's just the people know what they're doing. I'm a newbie. It's just hard to get into that game. The problem with, like, what he's saying right here is Marvel, they have so many characters, dog. Like, they have so many characters that you'll know, like we said earlier, you're gonna know what they do. if they even put in the frog guy, right, from X-Men, he's gonna have a long tongue, probably spit out acid is gonna be one of his moves. He's gonna have a grapple with his tongue, he's gonna have an acid thing, and probably like a high jump or something. Like, you're gonna know what these characters do already. So that's why I think Marvel's is gonna continue to thrive versus Overwatch.
Fortnite so bad? It did. Like, that's why Fortnite introduced no build. It's because the skill gap for Fortnite was so big that an average player could not keep up with it at all. You play with who's in your rank? Yeah, but it's demoralizing to know that people are that much better than you. And I think that it gives people, like, they don't want to get into it because they feel like they're at such a massive disadvantage because they haven't played for so long and other people have. I think it's psychological.
Basically the big point, nailing fantasy and using the comics as an excuse to go extremely hard on designs and to make those designs fundamentally appealing. That has worked. Look, I'm not trying to be cruel to Concord on purpose, but just look at the skin variants. Look at what they look like.
Well, they're ugly and disgusting. Nobody wants to be these characters, so of course nobody wants to play a game where you play as the characters. It's not complicated.
Oh, look at the things that you can buy within this game. So, Mr. Herman Hulst of PlayStation, if you're confused about why Concord, which you reportedly were really bullish about, if you're kind of confused why it didn't really work out, this is a really good example. But even with all that good, there are two things to discuss. Number one, business model. It's coming under some critique, and for strange ways, because it does seem a little bit pretty thought out.
Oh, Big T, thank you for that raid, dude.
Is actually walking a very similar path to Overwatch, and they are going to have to be careful and make sure that they do not step into all of the rakes that, of course, Blizzard stepped into.
I think that they will. I feel like a game like Marvel Rivals will be popular, be really popular for a while, and then people will kind of lose interest in it, the same as anything else. Like, that's fine. But, like, hopefully it'll be fun for 6 months, right? Give it 3 years? Yeah, exactly.
I think it has a possibility to stay along for a long time. It really depends on how they update the characters. If they start putting out more and more characters, like once a month, they give us a new character, I think it has longevity for quite a while, to be honest. I think we have a pretty decent amount of Marvels coming out.
Exactly.
The Blizzard hit themselves in the face. Monetization first, and I'd say that it's mixed, though fundamentally it does have something that Overwatch does not have, in that it is a third-person game. Now, if you look at Counter-Strike, I mean, obviously it's guns and knives because those are the most tangible and visible things. But with, say, League of Legends, which has now got hyper-expensive skins that can cost hundreds of dollars, that's third person. You can see your character. It's almost as if regularly seeing the thing that you're expected to buy kind of matters.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the reasons. Yeah, of course, because like, if you can see people, duh.
And has got the standard suite. It's got a battle pass, it's got cosmetic bundles, but where things get a little bit dementia-inducing is, of course, currencies is one of those. So all those things I mentioned are purchased using units, and you can get units through battle
it's a free-to-play game made by NetEase. It's gonna have fucking stupid monetization. Like, every annoying type of monetization it's gonna have outside of pay-to-win, it probably has it, right? Like, I would just easily assume that, for sure.
Progression, challenges, events,
of course.
and something that NetEase knows.
But it's just cosmetic though, so it's a free to play game. You play for free and you get cosmetics. Not a big deal.
Very well indeed. Promo codes. So you may not know this if you don't
Sup,
play
Raiders? Sup, Big T? Thank you.
Are a massive part of the gacha game world and culture.
Appreciate you, bro.
Basically, gacha game players are not stupid. They know that it is a crazy gambling hellscape. The peace is kept because the gacha companies generally deliver a shitload of content, and they're often quite generous when it comes to things like
That's
promo codes,
cool.
especially in major holidays.
This is true. Yeah, I think actually this is a really good point. Yeah, is that games have a lot of giveaways and like a lot of freebies, and that also gets people to log in again because like they don't want to miss out on it.
That's what that is. That's what that is.
It's like an advertisement.
So their inclusion here is a smart leg up on the Western competition. It means if they just want to hit the engagement lever, they can do that. Now, what's odd then is the premium currency, which is called Lattice. It's $1 per 100. It's purchasable in discounted bundles, which all seems completely normal. But what's strange is it's used in only one way, converting all of your Lattice into units at a 1-to-1 ratio, which does feel really quite overcomplicated. Then, of course, like Fortnite, there is a currency that you use within the Battle Pass to unlock things. Now, I have noticed pricing is raising some eyebrows. I mean, yes, things are extremely expensive in free-to-play games. You're basically looking at bundles costing $20 worth of units or $35 worth of units if it is an MCU thing, and of course, to explain
Jesus. Okay, yeah,
Actually,
I mean,
that's kind of a lot.
I feel like for a free game, if you're complaining about cosmetic prices in a free game, like, what the fuck are you doing? Really? Like, what are we doing here? We're gonna complain about cosmetics in a free fucking game.
MCU thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's just cosmetics. It doesn't change your gameplay at all. It's not like they're giving you a buff, so who cares? That's like the fix you need for PoE. Yeah, all the PoE 2 cosplay stuff, or the cosmetics.
Obviously, the mouse has got to get its cut. But there is one thing where I actually think we've seen good movement here. The Marvel Rivals Battle Passes do not expire. Just like...
This is what I was talking about. These are from the shows. Like, that one was from the movie, like 100% from the movie, and this is from one of his Loki show.
Halo Infinite,
Oh,
and
that's
just
great.
like Helldivers 2.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that I have been hammering on about for quite a while now in the industry.
Yeah, there's no advantage to a user that battle passes expire. It's purely consumer unfriendly, and it's consumer hostile even, because they're taking your money and your rewards and they're deleting them unless you play the game at some sort of like accelerated rate above what you would normally do.
I think that expiring battle passes, say in Overwatch 2 and so many other games, are basically tantamount to FOMO exploiting pseudo theft.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea that you could buy one of these things and then it'll just go kaput, and that they actually weaponize FOMO to sell you progression through the thing that you already bought. Because whenever you buy a battle pass, yeah, you might intend to finish out the thing, but life can get in the way. If
That's the thing that's so weird about it, is like, sometimes people have real life situations that make them not able to play a video game and complete a battle pass. Why should they be excluded from rewards for that? It's just so silly. Doesn't make any, like, what are we talking about here?
happens in this video game, you're still going to have your battle pass. You will not have been
So
screwed.
you're given that choice to make a buy. Oh, well, like you're saying, like people still choose to buy it. Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be allowed to do it. I'm saying,
But yeah, I do think that's really scummy though. To remove battle passes and stuff. I think that's really, the FOMO stuff is really effed up. But I have bought into it a couple times.
that it's just a bad practice. It's that simple.
Blizzard
I think it
will
is.
happily screw you in all of their games with the way that they do their battle passes. So this is absolutely a good move, and I hope that a real major game that is doing numbers like this, implementing this type of battle pass, actually gets rewarded, because this is what needs to be the norm. So overall, it's mostly standard, a little bit of a mixed bag, but they have made a major piece of progress. The next thing to talk about then is the challenge of running a game like this, because already they are seeing cries and demands from players for the sorts of features that some people in Overwatch loved and others didn't. Launch Overwatch 1 was a blast. It was an often busted blast.
This is always what happens, is that they the problem is that if you overbalance the game, you end up making it not fun for people. But it's like a very delicate balance between like doing it too much and then not enough. It's bad 100%, but the
They need to do that to friggin' League, bro. They need to do that to League.
content's saved, the game will grow massive. I could see, like, my concern with Marvel Rivals is that I could easily see in 6 months it having like a maybe 20 to 50k player base and then pretty much declining from there. Like, that's kind of what I think is going to happen. It's going to be a popular game for a while, but there are a lot of games, the biggest struggle isn't the release, it's the maintenance. That's really where it's where like the real challenge is. Like, where's it going to be 6 months from now? It's Marvel MOBA. Yeah. No, we'll see what happens, right?
I think it's been around for a while.
The classic event. Now, with top-down pressure to focus in the Overwatch League and an internal desire to actually make Overwatch 2 PvE instead, so that they could have a stepping stone to something that would approximate Project Titan, the failed MMO, it's safe to say that Overwatch struggled with direction just a little bit. That
Yeah, they
still
don't know
is
what the hell they're
playing out
doing.
today, where Overwatch has basically morphed into its PvP self, and if you had hopes for anything else, Well, man, that just sucks. Now, Rivals is a bit like launch Overwatch. Some shit is completely busted, and it's a bloody good time that's thrilling players, but it does mean they're seeing similar pressures. A lot of people want some
because every single day that the game is unbalanced, more people start playing meta builds and meta things. And that's what I've seen happen with a lot of people, is that you just have the metas build up more and more and more until the meta is just completely definitive. And like everybody plays this all the time. And like in competitive games, you have like added pressure. Because in a single player game, like Path of Exile maybe, or like Elden Ring, there are still meta builds, but the meta isn't as punishing because you don't have peer pressure to play the meta. But with a competitive game, you do.
a role log.
I've already seen that in Marvels, dude. Everybody's playing Punisher. Everybody's playing Punisher, dude. So that's what the if not everybody is balanced, and you're gonna have everybody just go, like you said, go into those characters, and it kind of like destroys the fun of the game, in my opinion.
Also want some form of role queue. How are they going to deal with this? And I say that because we've typically seen live service shooters through a ranked progress first esports focused lens, something I see a lot of pushback to in comments of our videos. So navigating that is going to be a challenge here, especially because they have got such a broad audience. An audience that, in terms of its dynamics, I would say is far closer to the Overwatch 1 ginormous audience than the far smaller and I suppose more clearly competitive PvP focused Overwatch 2 audience. Now, where Overwatch was torn between multiple directions, it's clear that things are going to be a little bit different here because this game is launching the way that it was intended. It's got 3-month seasons, multiple maps and heroes a season. That's the way that the thing is set up. They also get to have obvious marketing around films, major comic things, games, but right now, its real strength is a distinct lack of a calcified ranked PvP focused culture, which is what's set in Overwatch 2, where of course
this is what happens with every game like this, is that it just gets too competitive and then casual players quit. That's what I think.
But that's coming in Marvels, bro. That's coming in Marvels. I already see the PvP, the ranking coming out, and people are getting sweaty on it. It's coming.
Okay, I would be worried about the most. Like, it's too hard at, like, Dodge Zero, why don't you play the way I want? Yeah, exactly, right? It's like, that stuff happens, and then people just lose interest because they can't keep up with the meta. Overwatch 2 is even worse since you can change champions mid-round, so certain heroes work better in different spots on the map. Yeah, definitely. Sweats kill games.
Within that
they
culture
do.
Don't agree with each other on what direction the game should go in. And what that essentially means to me is that in terms of gameplay, this is the inheritor to Overwatch 1's crown. Now, from a world-building perspective, it is not an inheritor to Overwatch 1. And that is the thing
totally
that's tragic about Overwatch 1. So many people fell in love with the world only to be profoundly let down, where the Overwatch world has basically just turned into an excuse to have branded crossover events. We live in hell. But at least if you like that gameplay, you've now got a game that seems catered to you. And NetEase's challenge then is avoiding the mistakes of Blizzard. On balance, I actually think they will largely succeed in this one, but only
are they going to be able to succeed or not? I think that it depends. I don't know. I mean, as I said, I don't think that a game like this is going to have a long lifespan, but I think also people need to be more accepting of playing a game for a while and then not playing it anymore. Because I feel like nowadays what ends up happening is because people get so fixated on constantly and like wanting to invest all of their time and energy into like one specific game. And in doing so, I think it just, I mean, I would say I think it just kind of burns people out, and people want one game to be everything that it could possibly be. Yeah, just move on. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, yeah, the game's going to be popular and fun for a while, and then when it's not, then stop playing it. I feel like people try to make too much of an investment into video games.
Time will tell. And if you want to check out another pretty hot bit of news, this video next.
Yep.
I think that's a bad take for all the PoE raiders that we just got. We got a lot of people no-lifing PoE, man. But I kind of like, if I invest a lot of time in a video game, I want it to survive. So like, if I play Marvel Rivals, I'm not okay with it only lasting for a few months, dude. I want it to be here for a long time. So I want more characters, more maps. and to have a strong. I'm really into PvP, so strong PvP culture.
Kind of like Minecraft. Well, it's like WoW, where like people want WoW to be like their game that they can play for 10 hours a day every single day and not run out of things to do. And they want it to be like, this is the term, right, is a forever game. Like, okay, I'm going to log on to this game and play it all the time, constantly, and that's going to be my focus. We've been trained to want that. Yeah, I think that's in some cases generally true. Yeah. Even Sunraku doesn't only play Shangri-La Frontier. Yeah, true. That's a good point. You underestimate the people only play one game. Well, I do, but the issue is that if you cater to those people, you end up doing what Blizzard did with WoW, where you introduce like endless RNG loot systems, endless farms, endless gameplay. Because if you want to make somebody play the game all the time, you have to create content that makes it unfun to play the game some of the time. And that's what happened with Shadowlands, and that's what happened with Legion and BFA too. So I haven't really played the game like recently, so I'm not sure really what it is now, but that's basically what the problem is. You sure? Yeah.
Well, that's actually a good point, because a lot of people do like get kind of burnt out, and then they do want to have their forever game. But I like to spend a lot of time in one game, to be honest. So all right, chat, so that's that video. If you guys are here from YouTube, make sure you guys like and subscribe. We're constantly on Twitch. We stream every night on Twitch, so we're doing a lot of PoE. We're gonna do Marvel Rivals next week, and then next month in February, or not in 2 months, we're gonna be playing a lot of Monster Hunter. So make sure you guys like and subscribe, and check out our Discord for the giveaways and all that jazz. But that's it, chat. That's it for that video.